Okay, we're live, and I see the Gun Geek is here bright and early, right on time. Oh, see which coffee I have. Drive me nuts. So it's been another fun week living through the damn heat wave and then monsoon rains that showed up for the past week. Uh, couldn't really do much. Did get out and test some of them cheap shotguns. You see them boxed up there. And yes, Gun Geek, you did bring up a comment. You said that one of the manuals stated that if you shot slugs in the shotguns, it wasn't safe. Okay. Um, the manuals that come, each different gun has a different type of manual, and there's a whole array I'm finding out. These guns are similar, and you can find exact firearms. Okay, maybe the stock, the four stock or something is different, but it's the same gun with a different importer, manufacturer, or whatever. They're putting all these weird names, much like where our buddy isn't quite here yet. What they used to do with the side by side shotguns in the 1880s, 1890s, they used to sell in department stores. The companies wouldn't even put their names on them, or the pistols, the cheap ass pistols you used to get out of Montgomery Ward catalog in 1900. Um, but even though I measured the chokes at the tightest on the two that are fixed are improved cylinder, and basically you should be able to fire a slug. You probably could even get away with firing steel shot in them. It's when they get up into full or improved modified with steel shot, you'll have trouble. But overall, the quality is, you know, not there. But it's like arguing with the high point pistols. Okay, they're really kind of crappy guns, but if you put ammo in them, they will shoot. So, like the title, to cover everything, I've been working with those shotguns, trying to get them tested, and that got a lot of responses from people. You know, the gun geek himself, a lot of information and comments and opinions are coming in every day on the project. And again, it's just for content. It's something popular. These guns are cheaper or just as cheap as mill surplus guns used to be. And with the political situation, I put politics there. Having an inexpensive gun to defend yourself here in the U.S. of A. is not really a bad idea. You know. Plus, also the market is flooded. Since trying to reload, I've even seen them drop the price on primers because nobody is buying them. Okay, and the reloading components again are iffy, and the prices, like I said, there's been a little bit of a drop on them, and there's still stuff you can't get or find there. Plus, with inflation and the piss poor economy and uncertainty, anybody selling ammo online is dropping the prices. Okay, because the market is just stagnant. Things are not good. And it's not so much the guns and ammo thing, you know, because we're all interested in the shooting sport. So when stuff goes crazy out of control or just disappears during these panics, you know, it's a pain in the ass. But now you're in one of these points where, you know, you're short on cash like everyone else, and the market's flooded right at the moment, you know. So who knows? But yes, Gun Geek, you'd like it. We got involved in that with the Carcano and Kennedy, that forum where the people picked apart the Kennedy assassination. Well, I guess the Trump one is going to go on forever. And really, every passing day, there's more and more strange crap comes up. And who knows what's true, what's not true. But the only thing I did see, they tried stopping it. They did have the person that was the head of the Secret Service did resign. Okay, so a lot of stuff like that going on. From what the only person that puts up something about mill surplus readiness review, and he does a lot of the shorts. So for 60 seconds, he must be somewhere with his phone at a gun show, and he goes over a table, what they have, and what prices they're asking. And like he throws his comment in, um, yeah, it's them prices are pretty friggin' steep. I mean, somebody had some a little bit lower, but all the damn guns are rusted with parts missing and beat to shit and all this other stuff. Guy had a huge pile of them in there. So that's somebody, check him out. Uh, he has his stuff going. And again, Battlefield Curator, the fellow him did that video on about the Carcanos. He's constantly putting out something there in terms of mill surplus and everything else, and he tries to keep updated on it. To me, well, everything that I'm doing, I don't go even looking anymore. The auctions and that, I know Mike B was covering some auctions, and he was explaining to you how you can go and look for things because even if we have gun shows here, the amount of mill surplus from the little tiny shows that are local, and even if I get out to a larger one, say travel down to Fayetteville or some other part of the state next to a larger city, you may find somebody with a lot of surplus stuff. And the one guy that everyone used to go to that sold Milsup, uh, he's actually 2/3 of what he puts out is new firearms because he told me, a couple of years ago, he goes, I just can't find the stuff like I used to. I mean, he advertises he will travel, and I mean, he's got the money to back it up. So when he goes there and buys a collection and people got 15, 20 guns or something, I mean, he has cash in hand, enough money to make them an offer and pick it all up. And that's what he did for years. And now he's just not finding the material. He goes, the stuff is hard to find, all right, to where he can purchase it like he does. Okay, usually he goes to an estate or something like that. But now I guess the best way to do it is auction it. So when somebody does pass away and there's a bunch of old guns, they auction them and it comes out better. I have some short videos on mill surplus, but nowhere near the quality of you fellows. All right. And yes, good morning to everyone. Yes, and Gun Geek again, why slugs? The Remington slugs, them hollow base ones, they say you can fire them, and we have, and we hunted deer. And back in the days when chokes were fixed, okay, you couldn't change them. So the ammunition was designed that you had a full choke on a 28-inch barrel pump shotgun or shotgun, it would go through there, it would be fine. There's something about these barrels that I noticed. However they're finished, I mean, I know shotgun barrels are supposedly extruded. Okay, because when I worked at Remington Arms, I was started off in a room where they had the stock, the raw bars, and then next to where I worked, where we were handling that and storing them and IDing them and that, was the saw room. And the saw room, you go in there. We went in there on break when they were showing me around the factory. And granted, this is 1979 that I worked there. It was amazing. The 870 and 1100 receivers, they had a saw that cut an angle on the bar stock. and it was a solid hunk of steel. Okay, they cut them, and then there was a machine that scroll engraving that you see, like where they mill through it, and there's that scroll on the side of the receiver. That was stamped in, and I mean, they pressed that crap in there deep. Okay, into that raw hunk of steel, had that engraving in it as raw material, and it was pressed in there deep, and that's when they sent it off to be machined. And that was the first time they had CNC uh, machines with tombstone and a little robot used to come and get that. I forget how many receivers they put in a tombstone. It was like 40 or 50 of them or something. And then this thing was locked in there, and there was four sides that would rotate, and it was all automatic. It's the first time in my life I seen a CNC machine. And at that time, that shit was state of the art. Okay. And it took, like when you go on the tour, they tell you where it took, I don't know how many hours to machine out a receiver. Um, say it was 5 hours. They did it manually from one station to the other, the old fashioned way. They went from 5 hours to an hour or something to fully complete it with the CNC machinery. But it was interesting. But yeah, but anyway, so when I was in there was like a 3 inch diameter round bar. This guy was sawing about 2.5 inches thick. I said, "What's that?" And it was a weird golden color, yellowish color. And he goes, "Those are shotgun barrels." I said, "Shotgun barrels?" He goes, "Yeah, man. They take that slug and they heat it up till it's glowing red, and they put it in this machine, and there's a giant mandrel. It's the shape of the shotgun, the inside of the shotgun barrel. And they just hit that son of a bitch and stretch it out, pop it out of the machine and cut the ends off flush, and then finish the machine and chambering and all that other fun stuff." So that's pretty wild. That's how they make shotgun barrels. They're extruded out of molten steel, hot steel. These guns, I'm noticing they're like a plastic residue, especially the semi-autos. The pump isn't as bad, but it gets it. It looks like there's a plastic residue, and I mean, I use a brass brush and scrape all the buildup and carbon out of them, but there's this weird coating that's from the chamber up to where the gas ports are. It's building up in there. And I was thinking of maybe running a hone down these barrels because, like, the finish, it's got like a parkerized finish. It's not like a machined finish or anything like that. It looks pretty rugged, and some of them are wavy to where when they were punched out, they're not. It's like they're not taking a finish cut or machining or honing or cleaning out the barrels. Some of them, the ejection or the gas ports got burrs on them. Like when you run a cloth or something through there, you see it's hanging up. They got sharp edges on them. So that is going to scrape plastic. And I found when I clean them, little strips of the plastic wad will shave off and get into the uh, gas action. So I'm doing a detailed study on this, and there are a lot of little tiny things that'll trip you up. But why the hell not to use slugs? And some of these manuals do talk about ammo. Some of them don't talk about the ammo at all. Some of these things are a little bit more complex in being disassembled, and the instructions are not quite clear. Okay. And a lot of it too, there's ways of putting these things back together. There's little things you got to do and jiggle around and hold just the right way to get them back in there. And the videos I did make about doing that, I've gotten a lot of responses. Hey, thanks, it helped me. Hey, I was having trouble getting the damn thing back together until I found this video on that. So it's kind of a interesting little subfield there. Remember to hit keep gun channels relevant on. Yeah, Gerard. Yeah, that's true. And now we'll talk about YouTube. as everyone knows, they come up with this new thing that you can't have a sponsor. It really doesn't pertain to me, but some of the real large channels like Hickok 45 and you won't see ads on his channel. I don't think. I can't remember. I've gone to his, you know, I haven't gone to his channel in a bit. But what he does and how he runs there and why he's a giant channel is he has these companies sponsoring him. A lot of these guns and stuff that he has are basically kind of like, I think, on loan to him, because he'll say if such and such a company has given him this new item that's new with the SHOT Show and that, and they'll let him take it. And I don't know if the ammo's donated or whatever, but it's actually a business that he set up. And his sponsorship is probably the main thing that drives um, his income and ability to do this. So when YouTube said that if you plug in a sponsor, now if you go to any of the coin videos I made, any of them guys that are constantly talking about precious metals and that, they're sponsored by one of the big online dealers like SD Bullion, and you can get discount codes and enter into drawings and that. So it's the same thing no matter what you're interested in. Okay, a lot of the gun channels will have accessories like lights, holsters, whatever, sponsors. I never kind of got into the sponsorship because I think it's more of a headache than anything else. Okay, then I have to do something to appease these people. Okay, and really, the views I get on my videos, over time, people look for the information about an older gun or the information about this assembly. And over time, yes, there's thousands of views. But I'm not one that in 48 hours I have 100,000 views. Okay, some of these channels do that. That's where your sponsorship is going to get you. And that's where he can go because he has so many people uh, subscribe to him and so many hits on his videos. And he can call Google and actually get somebody to talk to. And how they look at it is how much activity your channel has. And like if they hit me with a strike or a suspension, I can appeal it and I send them an email, and in 48 hours they just deny it. Okay, because I don't have enough traction or I'm not moving enough information or for them to even pay attention to me. And if you have less than, I forget, so many thousand subscribers, they don't even give you a chance to appeal. Okay. So again, uh, that's the thing. But going back to it, yes, Gun Geek, zero sponsors. It comes down to where even though he's not making content on the forbidden things, if your sponsors sell any of these things forbidden, basically 80% any type of auto steers, conversion kits, bits, pieces, and that. And truthfully, when you get a large sponsor, how do I know what the hell this whole product line is or what they're selling? Okay, bump stocks, whatever. So now, excuse me. Uh, Even though I'm not making a video on bump stocks, but I'm sponsored by a company that sells them. It can yank my, that company is targeted, and if he's a sponsor, my video is gone. Okay. And I guess he come back and said they have to modify or remove or edit out the sponsor to keep the videos up, which, like me, if you said you got to go back and edit out this, I've got 10 years worth of damn videos. Okay. A couple thousand. there's no way to do it. And see, that's what tripped me up in the past. There was stuff that I posted was out there running 2.5 years, and I got burned on it. I think Rodney has sold out to the yeah. I wonder if they're still in business, but the thing is that that's the case. And like those videos, it's true. I did collect a lot of the AdSense from all the 80% video. I mean, they had the highest. I don't know if it's they actually click on the ads or the fact that them videos got so many views, you know, that somehow it drives that up or something. I'm not sure. I don't know how it works. Okay. But the more videos I get with thousands and thousands of views rapidly, okay, the more it works out for you. But then they went and changed everything that those videos were outlawed. Okay. And from time to time, I would have excessive cast bullets or reloading components uh, and everything else. And from time to time, I'd ask people, hey, send me an email and, maybe we can work something out. But now I found that if I do that or say, hey, I got this paperweight, would you send me $5 for it, or something? And if I do that with anything, okay, on YouTube, that's gone. And I think Gun Geek, that's why they nailed my cast bullet video, because somewhere in there, I told guys that, I knew to email me about it. And that's where I think I got a strike on that. Okay. So, but there is Rumble, and I can make a Rumble video and, you know, talk about anything I want. Okay. And basically that's what I'm going to do, which brings me back. Okay. You guys, I was on YouTube. Yeah, because Elon, when he had PayPal, it wasn't until he sold it, I think that it became anti-gun, that you can't guns, accessories, anything uh, at all. He renames it. I can't see. Names it Y. But yeah, you can't do that, and it kind of hurts me because sometimes I do have excesses of things. Okay, and that helps keep the channel going. All right. Um, but YouTube also, I found out. Remember, I told you guys I have trouble uploading some stuff, and I've been trying to upload videos, and they keep with the software I have keeps timing out, and it tells me can't be uploaded. Now I'll make several attempts in a day for one 10-15 minute video, and I'm not getting nothing loaded up. Then all of a sudden one day I think I uploaded 4 or 5 videos when it was raining out, and I try to post one up every day. Um, I I got screwed. Now going back to uh, Hickok 45 and that, I have been on Rumble for a lot of years, and there's a lot of guys that can't stand YouTube. They're real loyal subscribers. They follow me over there, and they wanted me to use Rumble. Now the problem with Rumble, and I did this, posted same video on Rumble, and posted it on YouTube. So after say 2 days on Rumble, I got 50, 55 views. On YouTube, I got 375 views. So you see, it's like in every major gun channel. The one guy that does the black powder stuff, I forget who it is, but he does a lot of stuff with all the black powder guns. Okay, and a lot of people said go to Rumble, And he says, when I do take the time and do the work, he goes, it just comes down to where I don't get the views. I don't get the traffic. Okay. And like me, he is in a partnership program. And without the traffic, you're kind of not getting that little measly income, which helps, you know, uh, with it, other than zero. So this is where a lot of people, uh, have issues with it. And it's like Hickok 45 said, some guy goes, well, why don't you go on Rumble? He goes, I have a Rumble channel. And he goes, that's just the point why I don't exclusively use Rumble. He goes, if you followed my channel, you would know, or if on Rumble, if my channel was visible, okay, as it is on YouTube, he goes, you would know that I have a Rumble channel. And that's where, when he said that, I get these people, oh, go to Rumble, and I'm like, I've been on Rumble for over 4 years, 4 or 5 years. If you can see my channel, it's Cobra49. Okay, you type in my name or my handle, it should take you to my channel. So it goes to show you there is a difference. And now the thing is, I can't, I've been trying to upload on YouTube and I'm having issues. I don't know if it's because my internet speed, which kind of sucks, and they're supposedly by the end of the month supposed to upgrade it, or if the AI is filtering the stuff out or what, I don't know. So I go to Rumble, upload the video, comes out okay. I don't have the choice. Like in my software, I can put some real nice high def stuff. And when I'm doing close ups, I like to upload it to high definition. Okay, so people can clearly see it depending on how they're viewing the video. But what I found out also is I had Rumble set up to where anything I post on YouTube, it would post the video on Rumble. So as long as YouTube didn't uh, ban the video for some reason and it was uploaded and on, it would eventually upload it on Rumble. Rumble would watch it was connected to my YouTube account and it would bounce the videos over. Okay. And this went on, so I wasn't worried. I was covering it with one upload. I was covering two platforms, basically, is what I was doing. Let's see what you got there. Like Twitter is X now. I'm on my fourth YouTube channel. Ooh, boomstick mark. YouTube keeps accusing me of trying to sell guns and ammo, even when I say nothing is for sale. All right, boomstick mark. Did you at one time do it or something, and maybe they have a grudge? You know, if you don't mention a price, because the Mosin crate, okay, I think he still gets on YouTube. It's just he shows you what's there and says, go to my website. And he tells you, I can't mention it, or I don't know how long until they're going to let me do this. And he goes, go to Rumble. Now, Rumble, he can, mention, values and all that other stuff. Okay. And that. So I don't know. And there he is. There's Rod. Rod's in sell out. Pine Tar Advocate. Yeah, and Rumble is not, it's like I wanted to go live on Rumble because I can say whatever I want. I got burned. We had a chat once, and it's back when we used to get 70 and 80 people during the health crisis, and we would talk, and there was more political stuff going on, and everybody was suffering during those times. Um, and of course, the panic that ensued 4 years ago during the last election, where, I mean, any gun shop you went to was empty. A couple months after the election, I mean, the big box stores, The only thing they had on in the store were 1,700 guns and up. Everything else was gone. I mean, literally gone. Okay, and you couldn't find a firearm back then. It was beyond insane. It was like a sci-fi movie, you know. And we used to have, um, everybody find another platform. Now, Full 30, you have to be invited by them. You just don't go join and upload. Everyone say, "Oh, go to Full 30, go to Full 30." And the only guys on YouTube they get invited to, because to to do this, to use the bandwidth to make this live broadcast, okay, I'm not being charged by YouTube, okay, but for them to have a site and have my video or whatever on there, they have to pay for this bandwidth. So they only invite somebody. Iraqi vet, he's another one that's high up there. I don't have one of them TV plaques of 100,000 subscribers like that fellow that interviewed me there, Battlefield Curator. He had 100,000 subscribers and got his plaque. Mike B's got 4 or 5 of them. Okay. See, somebody like me without the audience bringing the numbers, I got 22,000 subscribers or something. You'd have to have like over 100,000 subscribers to carry the weight behind you to get their attention. And really, at my age, I don't know if I really want 100,000 subscribers. It'd probably drive me insane listening to all the comments and questions. I don't know, it'd overload my old brain. Let me see. Rumble kind of sucks. I give up. Okay. And yeah. All right, Megabait. So, what was I going to say? Yeah. So when I went on Rumble, the quality wasn't there. It was very shoddy, and the uploads were choppy. And so going back to the lives, I finally figured out. I tested it this week, and somebody was sitting there, a fan, or 2 of them actually. When I kicked that live broadcast on, I got 2 people watching. And what it was is I have to have some sort of software. Okay. Like this here, I just click on YouTube and it opens this up. I really don't know if I can have other guests with this basic software that's free or not. I don't think so. StreamYard, you can go and get StreamYard for free, and that's where I can send email links. But to use StreamYard on other than like YouTube, Vimeo, or I could have a live on Facebook, okay, with the StreamYard software, I'd have to start paying it. And it's like anywhere from $30 to $50 a month to have the pro setup software. So I found some other software, and I found a tutorial on basically kind of how to use it, and I was stumbling through it. And on Rumble, it's like when I want to go live, they'll give me a URL and a key. So then from Rumble, I have to take this, open this other software, put the URL and the key in there, and then hit it, and it, boom, it does go. But see, the weird thing is, while it's running on Rumble, there's a delay from this software to where it uploads it to Rumble, and it was real choppy, and it can record it. So it's kind of like you do a live and have it recording on there. And then after you stop the live broadcast, you can go back, rewind it, whatever, and then it would go. But it would like break, and like you'd hear me talking, and I'd stop moving, and then my arm would be over here, and my head's over here, or something. Very choppy, very. but I got the hang of it, and also the microphone in this camera. It sounds like I'm 10 feet away from the mic, so you'd have to get some other type of mic. And it really didn't, when it kicked on, the camera kicked on, but the microphone did not. And I had a monkey with it, figure something out, and then finally I got the microphone and audio working. I deleted both of them because it was a test. I mean, I couldn't say much till I figured out how to get the microphone working. But I think this software, yeah, I can get guests and all that other stuff on. Uh, it's it's kind of difficult, but I'd like to do a live where I can. I think there's no restriction about firearms on Rumble. Basically, it's slander, bullying people to the point where they go crazy. I think you can't have like public executions or something on there or something, there's stuff like that. But basically, I can't remember what Rumble. I was reading through all the things um, on there, but to use StreamYard on YouTube, I need 1,000 subs. I could use on other platforms, but have no other accounts at this time. Also have poor internet quality. Well, Rod, it looks like, you know, I don't know what to tell you. But on the bright side, and thank you, Gerard, for that compliment. What I found is going back to Rumble. I have all these videos backed up. I made several range trips, tested these crazy shotguns, tested out some of this discount foreign ammo that's available in 12 gauge. So I got a lot of footage and just little videos explaining assembly, disassembly, all this other stuff. All right, so what I found a workaround is, and again, Google changed something. I had one way of uploading and going onto this and everything else, and I had no problems. Even if my internet is slow, okay, it wouldn't time out. Okay. I'd be able to upload it. Okay. Every now and again something would break or there'd be a break in the internet service, and I think that would drop it. Okay, unless that's happening now or something because of the length of time it takes to upload it, there may be an interruption in the internet which kicks it off. Okay, which I've noticed that when my internet's spotty, where sometimes you turn it on, they'll say you're not connected to the internet. I used to do that for 5 minutes in the middle of the day, and with my wife working online, this is disastrous. Okay. Actually, she was right in the middle of something and the internet cut out. And they did run some other type of service provider through the neighborhood. And then the old guy across the street's retired. She asked him, can I come across and use your internet? And he said, yeah. And she just went over and sat there in the house. He set her up on a little table somewhere. And she got the wireless connection and finished her work the rest of the day. And actually, we found out once we had his key to get or password to get in, she could do it from right across the street. And so for a couple of days, we had to use his internet for her to work on. So that's one of the problems. But I can, the way Rumble is, I can process it with my software and make a video and go up to Rumble fairly easily. Okay, why it doesn't work on my channel 47? I'm like, hold on. Digress when we're talking about the internet. Okay. Well, so what I found that I do, and also another thing with Rumble, like I said, there was a syndicated connection. You could tie your YouTube channel in to it. Well, I went back, and after Google changed this, my videos weren't being put over on Rumble like they were for years. Eventually, sometimes it would take a while, but if I posted on YouTube, eventually it would end up on Rumble. So, in Rumble, whatever I post about guns, drums, magazines, whatever, are cool. So I went and I posted one, and I was trying to get it to reconnect to YouTube so I could get the other videos I posted to transfer over. And all of a sudden it wouldn't do it. Then I got it to link up again. Okay, so once it linked up, I posted a video about test firing shotgun and took the shotgun out and fired it. And I'm looking, and all of a sudden that video is on YouTube. So now I got it to work the other way around. I upload the video on Rumble, which takes about 15 minutes at the most. And then, as long as that connection is still going, it'll send that video to YouTube. Yeah. So the last two ones on there about firing those Turkish shotguns are or were posted on Rumble. And let me go, I can't check that, but let me check this. I'm going to go and see if I'm still connected. Okay. Count options, videos, syndication. It's still on. So I don't know if that will stay on until something, I shut this down or something, not quite sure. And 58, 30 views. Oh, 30 views. I only got 21 on the pump shotgun the other day. So not that many, um, not that many views. But, guys, I'll make some sort of video, or basically, I guess the only thing I can do is go live, talk about a subject for a short period of time, and hope you guys see it on YouTube. Okay. And I can't do a premiere like to announce something. But I do have a Rumble channel. Okay. So go to Rumble, Cobra49, follow it or do whatever, and, try to go up, because what do I have in terms of followers? Let me look. My channel, 253 followers. Okay, is all that I have. And there are several subscribers that, because they're fed up with YouTube and the crap also. It's probably 250 loyal subscribers I know from YouTube that have gone over and watched me on Rumble. And Rumble also, when I wanted to speak my mind without worrying about saying things, I've made several political videos on Rumble, or, mention current events that are not, my sources are from outside the United States. And they don't like it when you put that up there and tell the truth about what goes against the mainstream thing. But like I said, with the Trump attempted assassination, that whole realm, if you go on YouTube, and the surprising thing is they're not banning anything said, okay, by any of this. And also the switch-o change-o, if you look at that Rumble video I put up that has the VP's picture on the thumbnail, go to that, and I explain my thoughts on how this has progressed the past 2-3 months, and really how insane it all is. Okay, and a lot of the psychological ploys in there with the comments that are out there by the mainstream media, not so much to go. All right. All right, now we're talking about finishing the stock with pine tar. I think I copied you and actually finished one of my Mosin stocks that was nasty in that pine tar like you did on the old Finnish ones. Virtual casing, space grease. Yeah, but see the gun geek like you find out like me when you post on Rumble, you don't hardly get any views, and like another thing, the shorts. Okay, and like I kind of don't understand it because really in reality, what kind of a video can you make in 15 to 60 seconds? Okay, I mean, that isn't even quite a description or a thought about something. But I would take, and I think I did it with the 1888 Mannlicher rifle. Just I took a clip, loaded it into the gun, and stripped the round out, and then took the clip out. Is what I did on the short. Okay, I had it on a rifle rest. Now I did a video on it, a real brief one, holding the gun, showing the ammo and everything else. It wasn't exactly. If it goes over 10 minutes, people's brain capacity are fucked up and they can't handle, you know, a lot of information. So I make a video like that. I get a lot of positive comments. It's say 10, 11 minutes long. I get 350 views, okay, on average. I make a short where I'm just with the phone, put the clip in, close the bolt, pull it back, the round comes out, eject the clip, 60 seconds, 4,000 views in a 48-hour period. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand it. Okay. And it's probably, I haven't checked, it's probably 8,000 views now. Who knows? I'm not quite sure. See, this is where I don't understand. There's somebody clicking bayonets onto the rifles. All right. It's a lot of things I don't quite get. Okay, suppression, evil. Yeah, we're suppressed. Oh, that to really sink in. Space grease. Oh, you're talking about the assassination attempt. Yes, they do that, and that's the CNR. I forget the name of that channel. It's a good channel. He does some very good videos in describing the guns, and he gets the 3D graphical uh, software set up and shows you how the gun functions, which I think that's pretty neat. I mean, he does have a quality channel if you really want to get in because he'll cover the history, the people. He has that 3D graphical, which is neat. I mean, I wish I could do that with some explanations, but I'm not going to get into it that deep. And then they have May, cute little girl, go out and fire the guns. You know, so it's a very interesting channel. I like it. I've gleaned a lot of info off of it. And the thing is, they're the ones that blew up them uh, Italian veterans. I think it's short about. Yeah, Gun Geek, that's real good. Rod, you gotta. Nobody likes my finishes 2 times. Well, then do some shorts. You know, yeah, CNR Arsenal, CNR Arsenal, or whatever. Tim Black, yep, round shorts. CNR Arsenal. But yeah, I mean that's what I mean when you're making content and trying to keep things going. Because actually, if you spend a lot of time doing this and nobody views it, like on Rumble, I've tried Rumble, I've tried Odyssey. There was some other platform, a lot of people brought up, and they're not on the level. And Hickok 45 says this. They're not on the level of YouTube and Google because they do control the whole internet, the search engines, everything. Okay. And basically, how it works is the more views I get on the video and the topic and the title, okay, if there's a bunch of views and it gets clicked on, the more it gets hit, the more the system will put that out there, like recommended videos. If you say reloading for the 6.5 Carcano, okay, it'll put that video out. All right. And all this other stuff. But reloading videos, supposedly, according to YouTube, making ammunition is a violation of their policy. So every reloading video should be eradicated. I guess it's certain types of ammunition that they're talking about, maybe more along the lines of some sort of not normal ammunition, explosive, strange. But then again, you have Gun Geek invited him to Flato Mouse or whatever the hell his name is there. That's all he does is launch weird shit out of a 12 gauge shotgun. Pretty interesting, if you're into that. But I don't know. Rub their wood all day, yeah. Oh, okay. You guys are into finishing the guns and all that other fun stuff. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know. I don't know where things are going. Uh, Anybody see any sales on reloading components? Because when I went to pick up one of them shotguns in my dealer, he's really into reloading. Okay, and he told me right now they're dropping the prices on all the components. Of course, everybody gets into shooting these strange 6.5 bullets. Okay, the bench rest shooters, and then you got 6.5 Creedmoor, which is a fairly accurate weapon. Okay, I got one of them discount guns for under $300. I think the Savage Access is in 6.5. I did some loads for it. My nephew uses it to hunt. And basically, I think the last batch of them, I loaded up some Creedmoor for him and sent it to him. Uh, but yeah, they're an accurate gun. And he was telling me, oh, I got these 6.5 bullets. They got a sale. He goes, if you're looking for components, uh, but basically, if I'm loading military caliber, like 30 carbine, I'll buy a full metal jacket bullet and just buy 500,000 of them. Or even Barry's bullets in the pistol caliber, buy 1,000 of them. They work just as good, okay, as a full metal jacket. Save you about 2, 3 cents a bullet. And, for just shooting holes in the paper, the hell you need, the fancy stuff. Granted, a lot of bullets now are constructed in a way to improve accuracy, performance, ballistic coefficient, and all that other fun crap. But you know, just for me to go shoot at 200 yards, I don't, have a range available where I could go out to 600 yards or more, and actually prove long range accuracy of the weapon. Okay. Um, so I don't really get into it too much of the long range performance type of thing. Probably would, but then that's another venue I have to go into. All right, so we all done with the rubbing in the wood discussion? What else out there you guys want? Has anybody found any sources of mill surplus, or anybody been buying any mill surplus or anything? I mean, I'm reduced to buying Turkish castaway clearance guns because basically at one time mill surplus, that's what these guns cost, about the same thing. You know, I know I've been questioned, am I looking for anything? But Japanese rifles for $600-700, and uh, like I said, if you watch what's his name there, uh, Readiness Review, he does do a lot of scans and shows you the price, and he gives his opinion, and he's quite correct. It's pretty steep what the hell they're asking for. I don't want the rifle to look new, just want to protect it. The M48 Woodies, okay. All right, loading stuff never goes on sale. Inner Surplus, is that like an online company uh, that does that? Yeah, the Swiss rifles, I thought they were tapped out years ago, but they show up. I mean, what's his name has them. Uh, Royal Tiger, he got them, and he got a bunch of Carcanos that didn't come out of Ethiopia. So he must have bought the ASN batch because those are the ones that are all kind of beat up, parts missing and stuff. He was selling those. So he must have went and scooped up the bottom of the barrel stuff that a lot of the distributors weren't taking on at that time. And I think you could still get Carcanos. Um, and I see the Swiss rifles. I seen them with the place in Kentucky would have them. A bunch of the Portuguese KR 98s came in here end of last year, beginning of this year. Pretty high price tag on them. They were available in several places, but the Swiss guns still do show up, you know, and and that's pretty amazing. At local auctions, yeah. See, that's just it, Tim. You got to go to an auction, uh, and then God only knows. Sometimes local auctions, you can go to local auctions, and if there's not another collector or somebody that's knowledgeable, you can get some deals. But then again, I've seen stuff that gone apeshit, like Lugers and anything Nazi marked. Forget it. I'll start bidding, and then it gets crazy, and I just stop. Uh, but yeah, and ammo too. I see a lot of people firing ammo. They got duds and all this other shit. Yeah, they're online. Okay, so uh, they do go to gun shows sometimes. All right. See, but then again, are they in your area or whatever? I know you fellas are out there in, you know, Nova Scotia, I believe. And Canada, it's still a large country to drive in up to the other parts. I don't know how they are with gun shows up there in Canada either. I know there's a lot of auction houses because I've seen several auctions from up there. Uh, they auction guns. There's a lot of online auctions, but I don't have a import export. Somebody did buy a part from me from there, and there is a company that does this, but it adds much more to the cost. So, to buy some reasonable guns from Canada and have them sent to me here in the U.S. I think it'd have to be something special. Yes, all about rally. I believe fewer places with Carcano carbon, not like years ago. Yeah, Royal Tiger. It depends. I got one or two I had to pay, but there's a lot of bad ones that come out of there too. Beechwood, okay. Okay. Quebec, of course. I figure it was one of the larger cities. Uh, yeah, and their prices, that's true. I mean, well, you got to look at it with inflation and that. Like all them years ago, if I was spending $100, 100 and a quarter for a nice example, uh, that was kind of a lot of money. That was 40 years ago. I guess now you can say if I was to go out to a gun show and I can find, and you're not going to find the pristine examples. Okay, say I found some sort of a shootable example of, say, an old Spanish bolt action rifle or some kind of common gun like that. And depending on how bad the condition is, you're looking, I think, on average for a complete military gun that probably would shoot without keyhole in a bullet or standard ammo. You're looking at $350, $400, depending on what it is. Okay, and a lot of the Yugo Mausers are out there. As a matter of fact, I picked one up cheap from a guy he had. It was fairly decent shape. Uh, Came with some ammo. I sold the ammo and I sold the gun real cheap to a friend of mine that really wanted it. Um, but I've shot so many Mausers. See, that's why I'm more or less interested in the older guns. Is I've shot so many Mauser rifles over the years, KR 98s or any of the contract Spanish ones, and 7 millimeters, 6 point. I still got some 6.5. And I go out and shoot them every now and again. I mean, you sit there, they're accurate, bang, you hit the target. After you've done that 700 times, you kind of burn out on it. I should dust off. I got a whole set of the Swiss guns. I should dust them off and go out and shoot some more of those. They're always fun. But I still got to get that sight fixed on that K31. That's why I got it. Whenever you find one of these guns, it's like in super mint condition, it hasn't been used. There is something, and that thing is, it's shooting low at 100 yards. I don't know. Let's see. Here's surplus, blah blah blah. Prices, yeah, prices don't allow us. All right, so the gun shows up in Canada are just like here. Everyone's trying to make. Well, when you watch an auction, take a gun, and you can say an old Mauser, and like I said, I think it's worth maybe $300. Okay, but when you see an auction where the thing goes for like double the price, 556. Okay, if I have the same gun in the same condition, and there's a public auction and people are willing to pay for it, I'm going to price that gun. If I'm going to sell something out of my collection, I want every friggin' dollar I can get. You might not agree with that, but too bad. Okay. And that's what people are getting crazy. $1,000 for a round receiver, 1943, 44 Mosin Nagant, like I seen at a gun show. Hey man, if you get somebody to pay you 8 for it, Okay, more power to you. All right. And a lot of people, well, just don't buy them. Okay. I mean, some of these people, and then again, I've been around some of these people selling some of this stuff. They're not going to come because they got nothing better to do than sit there the rest of their miserable lives trying to get top dollar for it. Okay. And that's why I haven't sold anything recently. I haven't bought anything recently. And if I did decide to sell anonymously through some sort of auction house, and that way none of the crying, whining, screaming, yelling, dealing with people and stuff, just do it like that. But what I should do is get back into going out and putting some rounds down to a lot of the stuff that I have. Yeah, uh, there's one guy down in Florida. My neighbor bought one from him. I forget his name. But what you do is you get on a list, and if you're on the list, he immediately emails you the list when he buys a grouping. He still goes around and buys collections and that. And my neighbor got one fairly reasonable. He didn't steal it, but it was in very, very good shape. And he had sent him a credit card number, and then of course, I think it was on a CNR license. He's got a CNR, so they just mailed it to him. That's the way to go. And the guy sells the stuff out like it's like the Mosin crate. I mean, he has all them pistols, and within 5 or 10 minutes, the way he does it, he just spends the day going through the emails, and he sells all that stuff. And then when he doesn't sell it, then he gets all worked up and don't carry it no more. I forget it was the CZ82s or something. Uh, he didn't sell them all in one shot. I'm not going to carry these anymore. I said, well, but see, that's that meth buying strategy, and this weird shit. You got to send an email right at 10 o'clock in the morning, 1 minute before or whatever is no good. It's disqualified. And then he gets everyone sitting there hitting a button. And I forget it. He says how many emails he gets. And he just goes through them in a timestamp and contacts you and sells them, which is pretty neat. You can get equity in these arms. Grew up in Texas shooting. I've seen it all. All right. I'm not quite sure about Texas. I think I had a friend that was a dealer, went down there once years ago, and he was reaching to look at a gun, and a guy behind the table went and grabbed his arm. And he's like, what? Can I pick the gun up? He goes, no, because he was wearing a Rolex watch. And the guy behind the table wanted to buy his Rolex watch. And he goes, the watch ain't for sale, and then got into some thing there. Rolexes and Winchesters. Yeah, 500. I see what you're talking about, Ron. See, 3.7. That's a reasonable price for a gun like that. Now, that's not bad. Hickory LGS. Okay, you still got an LGS in Hickory? They closed the one up here in Greensboro. 8,900. Oof. Well, that old Gander Martin or LGS, it became. they always had insanely high prices on their surplus guns. You could very easily go and buy them from an online dealer for half the price of what they had them in the store. And I remember a guy bought a Swiss rifle, was up there, and I forget the price. You could get them for 300 and some dollars, and they had like 500 bucks on it. And he was buying something, and he looked at it. He said, "Let me see that rifle." And he looked at it. He said, "I'm taking this home with me too." And but now I don't know what the Swiss guns go for now. Uh, you know, Mark Hall shows really something. Yeah, I wish I could have seen it. Uh, you know, to go to the big ones, the big gun shows. Do they still have them? AZ for $35. Yeah, yeah. There were deals like that. Shit, I used to buy Carcanos for 15, 20 bucks when I was in high school. And I have some surplus ammo, and once I ran out of ammo, I sold the gun. All right, we got somebody coming in. Ah, yep. So it's kind of an update of what we're doing. I want to finish up with the Turkish guns. I got some conclusions with the pump. I've done just about all I can with the pump. Going to do a conclusion video, and that'll be gone. The Titan, which actually out of all of them, that Titan shotgun, people love it, hate it, whatever. That damn thing was worth the money. And as long as you don't like put killer ass 3-inch mags in there, it probably would last a while, you know, or good for what it is. You know, you find ammo that patterns well and works well in it, and you keep it as like a backup somewhere or some kind of a shotgun you just keep out where you can grab it. That way, if anything ever happens to it or gets stolen, you know, you're not losing a $1,200 Benelli or something. Um, and then I got two new shotguns. Got a bullpup. So all if the people out there are asking, are you going to do a bullpup? Got a bullpup. And then I got another weird semi-auto AR style. And watch for this one. It's G-Force P25 or something. Or G-Force makes about 5 different models of that gun, like the one I have, the 99 Deluxe. This one's got choke tubes, and I've never seen the gas system like is on this weapon. Okay, the barrel does not have a lug like standard. You know, you pump guns, semi-autos, you got a lug, and your gas ports are in there. This thing, the barrel has where you lock this hub, and then the gas piston goes in the hub. And when I took it apart, you got to watch the disassembly. I've never seen it where they drilled 4 ports into this barrel all the way around the circumference, equally spaced. I've never seen nothing like that on a semi-automatic shotgun. So I got one that's a whole mechanical thing for me. And I'm curious how this works. If it's going to work, blow apart into pieces or explode or something. I don't know. Crazy. And an FFL. $25. Yep. Ravens. Those are good. They will call Olympics honors. Everything was cheap. Yeah, but you go back far enough, You say it was cheap, but still, money didn't come by that easy. Yeah, it was like there was a recession at one point in time in the 90s, and I went to a local gun shop, and Remington Arms products were popular, and people were hurting for money. And I went into the used gun rack, and I'm talking the good H70s that were made prior to, I think, 1985, where they started cheapening them up, and 1100s. I could have got beautiful blued 870s in just about any gauge I wanted. I seen 410s, 28s, 20s. I should have went, and they still wanted halfway decent money for these used guns because a lot of people buy them, shoot them a little bit, hunt with them. They're like brand new, even though they're been around a while. I should have bought every one because now you can't get guns made like that, and you can get people that want one to spend some money. Let them buy the new ones that fall apart and they subcontracted all the internal components out and they ain't fitted together worth of shit. Okay, you can get them dime a dozen. So I don't even know if anybody still makes them. I don't know if somebody bought the company name again. I know they divided up Remington and Harrington and Richardson Park, which they bought that. The Ruger plant here in North Carolina bought that section out, and they went up there to get the machinery. And what they did is they couldn't fit it into the existing old 4-story brick building, so they took the employees' parking lot and put a single floor metal building in the parking lot in front of the old original building and put all that stuff in there. And when they bought that, the rights and everything and the machinery, that's when the guys drove up there and took all that stuff out of there, brought it down to and see, man, I did a Hugo Mauser. Yeah, see the older guns, those are the older ones, the 57, 50, whatever. There was a semi-auto and all that. All right, Megabait, take it easy. All right, we're getting in close to an hour and a half. Everybody's talking about gun stocks and yeah, the Yugos. The guy that does my transfer, he got one, and that's what he did. Refinished the stock. He picked that gun up for like $300, and he wanted to clean the stock up. Now, of course, he had a very interesting story about this. That these rifles were used on the Russian front, and something about that they put antifreeze on the stocks for some reason or something or whatever. And I said, okay, how the hell do I know why the hell somebody'd soak a stock in antifreeze? But that's what he said it was. And I guess you guys are trying to finish them stocks up. And he did something. He was screwing with it. And he would explain to me that he's steaming or soaking and getting the antifreeze out of the wood because it did look really kind of shitty. And somehow he finished it up, and I don't know what he did, but eventually he bled out whatever the hell he said was in there. And I don't know, maybe it was pine tar. How the hell I know? But then he went and just refinished it, and happily ever after he was. on a shotgun, a muzzle brake. Well, all right, 314. It was good seeing you. They used to have them poly chokes that had like a cuts compensator on the front. I guess it does help or whatever, but I had a lot of people blow them, they over the years blow them up. And yeah, poly choke before they did choke tubes was something that came out, I guess, in the 50s. And you would find a gun with them on there. What they had to do is go thread the barrel and thread this apparatus on there on a poly choke, and you would twist this and close the aperture in the front to do it. It was this weird thing that went on the end of a shotgun like a silencer. I used to see them every now and again. Uh, and I can't remember when they started putting adjustable choke tubes in. It wasn't until after the 80s or around the 80s they started doing that. Before that, that was the only adjustable kind of choke you had. I'm not quite sure. I'm not an expert in it because all of that crap costs extra, like a vent rib. When I bought an 8.7 in high school, I didn't have the money for the vent rib, which was an added extra until it became standard. Walnut and iron 22. Never heard of them. Well, it looks like, unless somebody's got something else really interesting, several of the fellows, about an hour and a half, listening to my bullshit's about enough for everyone, I guess. Think up of something for next week. Put it down in the comment section of this, wherever we want to talk about. And I'm probably going to wrap it up. I got to go make some rounds, see how my videos are uploading. And, guys, go to Rumble. Please follow me there. Get my followers up on that. And, because it looks like I'm not going to waste my time trying to repeatedly post crap on YouTube when I can't get it through, when I can just do it on Rumble and be far ahead of the game. You're going to see. But if you guys could, thanks. And I'll see you guys next week at this time. I'm glad that all of you fellows stopped by. Had a lot of input. It was more talking about rubbing wood than anything, but hopefully you'll get them stocks looking where you fellows are happy, much like my buddy did. And we'll be around next week. Talk again.